Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Karla, owner of Your Body, Your Way Personal Training, and I am bringing you today one of my clients, Diane Jalbert, for a video testimonial. Now, Diane and I have worked together for a very long time. She was definitely one of my first guinea pigs, and apparently it must work because she's still with me and has tried many modalities and styles within my training. But you don't have to hear it from me. We'll hear it straight from Diane. So Diane, thank you so much for doing this and being a part of this with me. The first question I'm going to ask you is tell everybody where you were before you started working with me and what made you seek out a coach or a trainer.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, I was running. I did a lot of running with the running room and things like that. But I was starting to have a lot of issues. So I was seeing a physiotherapist and was talking to people, how do they do things? I'd heard about cross training and asking people, what about cross training? And they said, well, like that's other things other than running. So biking and swimming and that kind of stuff. I went, oh, I like swimming. Biking, we'll work on that one. But so I asked my physiotherapist because I knew he was training triathletes and I'd heard about triathlons. I thought that kind of interesting. And so he said, well, let me introduce you to somebody. And so he introduced me to Karla. And she was the perfect fit for me because I was somebody who needed a lot of encouragement and a lot of support and not a lot of like numbers and people that were, like, because I wasn't super at that time, I wasn't competitive. I was just doing it for fun. And so Karla was the best fit for me.
Awesome. So before taking on a trainer, were you ever skeptical of hiring a coach before?
Well, the thing with coaching is, for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to be spending a lot of money and can I really afford it? That was the hardest part for me. But it was interesting, though. I took the plunge and I said, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to invest in myself and that. And then I got to a little bit later on, I started looking at the cost and saying, you know what, how much do people spend on smoking, on cigarettes? And it's like $300 to $500 a month. I was like, holy smokes. So I added up all of the cost of training and even with the cost of the trainer plus the cost of swimming. And it was still less than money people spend on smoking. I was just amazed. I thought, this is an incredible benefit. So after that, it didn't even phase on me. It was just, this is an investment in my health.
Absolutely. And I like that comparison because, it's very true. Whether or not it's smoking or eating out or alcohol, people spend more than they assume that they spend. And when you add that up and compare it to hiring a professional, it's either in comparison or less than what they would spend on those areas and modalities, right? And that's not helping their health, that's hindering their health. So
absolutely, yeah.
So what were some of your biggest breakthroughs while training with me?
Well, the best, like my kind of like an aha moment, right?
Yeah.
So the getting the results, right? So getting the results, seeing myself get stronger, and but for me it was really interesting because it was more. It wasn't so much getting the the accomplishment of ending the race or whatever. It was seeing some of the other little things that happened. For example, I was raised in a really competitive family. So my dad was a provincially award-winning pitcher, and my sister was really active, and my brother were really active, and they were both super sports-minded. They were always in volleyball and basketball. I didn't. I was the one that sat at home. Not that I wasn't a little bit active, but I wasn't team sports oriented. And I didn't feel like I was a competitive one, and I couldn't or I didn't feel like I could compete against my brother and sister. They were always naturally better than I was in sports. So I kind of just didn't. And I thought, oh yeah, you're not competitive, you're not an athlete, so you just don't go down that road. Well, then I got to training for the first triathlon with Karla, and it was like, oh my God, uh, guess I am a little competitive.
Yes, you are.
And it was really interesting because, like, this isn't a bad thing. Like, to me, competition was sort of like, you have to be mean to be competitive because there's so much focus that people put in when they get competitive, and to me it was like that was being mean to other people, and I realized it's different. And for me, I don't compete against people anymore, or think about it. I don't think about it that way. I think about, okay, I can be competitive and I can be the best that I can be. So I'm competing with myself. And so it's when I got the third in my age group at the Subaru.
Yes.
When I got my first personal best, right? When all of a sudden you do a race and then you do the race again and you realize you've gotten better at it. And it was like, oh yeah, I can do this. I'm an athlete.
Yes. Yeah, you are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was awesome. That's been great. So you have been training with me for 6-7 years on and on? Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
And we've tried different styles and modalities of training. And now what you're currently in is my new online program that instills mindset as well as exercise and then group phone calls. Describe that a little bit for people, because people are always concerned about, like, what is group training? What does this mean? And how has this been different for you than any other training with me?
Well, that one, so this one is more like about changing your attitude and really focusing on your inner self, and that you're still doing the exercises, you're still doing the running, and you're still doing the biking and that, but the focus isn't so much on that as it is on looking inwards and finding out what's driving you. What is it that you need to look at to make you more consistent, or help you, not to make you, but help you be more consistent with exercise, and finding your why are you doing this, and or what is stopping you from going forward. And that's the biggest thing that's really impacted me, even before the 12 weeks, but definitely more on the 12 weeks. I do a lot of journaling, a lot of thinking, realizing things in a moment, and it's sort of like having these tiny little epiphanies every few days, or every week, or once a week, or whatever, when you're thinking about it, and oh, that's why I do this. Oh, that's what's happening there, and that's really impacted me, because so now when I sit down and I decide I'm going to have that bag of chips, in the evening or whatever, you're very much more aware of why that, asking myself, why am I doing this? And then you decide, do I still want to go ahead with that bag of chips, or maybe I don't want to, or maybe, yes, I do want to go and have some, but you don't need to eat the entire bag of chips, and that's really been the biggest help for me right now. It's helping me become more consistent, but also more aware.
Yes, absolutely agreed. Yeah, which really just pushes and drives those goals home. So who would you say that this program would be recommended for?
I think it's for anybody. For anybody. If you are thinking about, starting, I can't tell you how important it is to do something, to get off your butt, to get going, and it's just for everybody, because everybody has those blocks, those, they set up their own roadblocks, and so this program will help you become aware of those roadblocks, and then how to push through them and leave them behind.
That sounds awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Diane, for being a part of this. I have enjoyed watching you grow over these 6 years. I always enjoy training you, and I am looking forward to our future goals together.
Absolutely. I got a couple of them.
Yes, for the next coming year, some really big, hairy, audacious goals for you. So I'm very excited about that. So again, thank you so much for being a part of this. And if you would like to hear more about my online program, please send me a message or email me at karla@yourbodyyourweigh.ca, and I'd happy to chat with you and find out if this is a good fit for you.